What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I'm breaking down what's going on with the overall market, what you should be watching for moving forward. I'm also going to talk about Tesla SPY and the QQQ and break down what's happening with the data that just dropped, what the news is saying about the markets, what you should be watching for going into today. But before I break anything like this, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so make sure you take none of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you are guaranteed up to 12 free stocks. The offer ends very soon, in just about 6 days, so check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. Tesla's up about 1.62% in the pre-market as we did get a decent PCE report, and the market's gapping up exactly as I predicted yesterday. But the question is, as we are getting this pop in the morning, will the market continue to push, or will the market get another rejection just like how it did yesterday? And the answer to this is we don't truly know, to be honest with you all. The best way to go about this would be just to watch for confirmation, see which levels we reject at, and let the price tell you what the opportunities are. Now, as far as the data goes for the markets, we had some bullish news that came out. The PCE data has been better than expected. We have PCE month over month at 0.2%. That's for the price index. That is actually very close to the forecast. Core PCE price index month over month was 0.2%. That's once again very close to the forecast. And besides that, when it comes to the year over year data, year over year core PCE was 4.1%. Inflation was like 4.1% on the core side, which was lower than expected with the forecast of like 4.3%. So far, the inflationary numbers look as expected or better than expected on the CPI end in almost every single different measure. That is bullish news for the market. That's why the market is pumping in the pre-market. However, at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time, right? 30 minutes after the market opens, wherever you are around the world, we have the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report coming out and the 5-year inflationary expectations data. This is going to cause some volatility 30 minutes after the market opens, so be very careful when the data comes out. Expect some volatility. Now, when it comes to the market open, here are 5 things, or just a couple of things we should note. I'm not going to go over everything. Basically, the Dow is on a tear up for 13 days in a row, the longest streak since 1987. GDP is rising, once again defying the odds, and this is still causing the Fed to not really project a recession. This is making them more optimistic, and the same thing for many other investors. Moving forward, there's also news about Ford, who are talking about how they pushed back their EV production targets, and they're warning of the widening losses on the vehicles, saying that the adoption has been slower than expected. And besides that, most of the news has been quite positive in terms of earnings and etc. But the question now is not a matter of how on earth will the market perform, but a question is how on earth will the market react to particular levels. Now, as far as Tesla goes, there's lots of negative news coming out. There was some news that Cathie Wood sold 8,000 shares, which is basically nothing for her standards. That's basically nothing. But to add on to this, there's just a lot of talks about how people are complaining about the driving ranges of Tesla. The news is saying that Tesla's lying and exaggerating about the driving ranges and this and that, and the list goes on. Most of the news coming out for Tesla has been quite negative lately, in my opinion. A lot of it is like unnecessary. Some things are kind of okay, but other things are just not as necessary. And moving forward, I mean, as this continues, this is negatively affecting Tesla. Now, in my video from yesterday, I predicted Tesla would gap up around this 260 area into open, where it adds 259 right now. And then I predicted that there's a good chance that the market could see downside afterwards, looking at the momentum that came from yesterday. I still think it's a possibility, but we need to watch for confirmation just to be safe. All right, so that's the best thing to do anytime when you're trading. Watch the price action tell you the direction you're breaking, and that is not financial advice. If Tesla breaks 260 above the 200 EMA on the 5-minute time frame with the extended hours on, if it breaks this, we're going to be watching 262.5, then potentially 265 if that breaks. If Tesla fails to do so, and we reject off the 200 EMA, if we fail to break 260, we're going to be watching 258 as our support. If that fails, if 258 fails us, Tesla's going to come all the way down to fill this gap around 256 and potentially test the 255s. And 255 has been critical support for Tesla. It depends on how the market responds. If the market keeps tanking, Tesla could break below 255 and retest 250, if not lower levels. But if we get enough buyers, we could try to see it defend 255. So watch that level very carefully. That's going to be another pivot zone. But I am anticipating that if 258 breaks, we're going to come all the way down to 255, if not lower. And if we break 260, we do have potential for upside. Right now, it is rejecting off the 200, so be very careful. But we're going to see what happens by the time we open. One thing that's a little concerning though is we are gapping up into open, right? We have this nice pre-market gap. The odds do favor us coming down to this level, so be very careful and watch 258, but then we'll see if we could bounce off 255 or not. All right. For SPY, it's very similar to Tesla. We're basically pumping in the pre-market testing 456. If we break 456 on SPY, we're going to push all the way up to 458 or so. And if that breaks, we could go to the high, like very close to the high we saw from yesterday if 458 breaks. Now, that's the thing about the markets is you can't really guarantee anything. If you reject off 456 or 458, whichever one it is, you're going to be watching first off 456 as either support or resistance, depending on where you are. And if you reject off both of these levels, 456 and 458, market's going to come all the way down, and we're going to be watching 455 as our support. If that fails, let's watch 454. Now, here's the thing about 454. If we get a big break below 454, we're going to likely see a rug pull in the markets, and the market's going to come all the way down to at least 452, if not 450 flat, which is where max pain happens to be. Will the market makers cause a short squeeze? That's a possibility as we have a 2.25 put to call ratio. Or will the market makers let the market drop to max pain at 450 just to get the best benefit from both sides? I'm not sure exactly which one they're going to choose, to be honest with you all. I'm open-minded to anything, but I just want to warn you guys about the possibility, and I just want to remind you all to watch for confirmation. Last but not least, before I end the video, we have the QQQ. If you're bullish on the QQQ, we don't have a bullish confirmation just yet on this thing. We need to see it break above 382. If it manages to break that, you guys know the levels, then we have 384 above that, potentially 385. We could get up to this 384 to 385 area if we break 382 in a strong manner and we get good volume. If the market fails to do so, if we test 382 and we reject very hard, you're going to be watching 380 as our support. And if that fails us, there's 379 technically. If that fails, then we have this like big level down here around this like 377 area. And if 377 area, the 377 area breaks, that's a very big level. It's going to come all the way down to the 375s, if not even 373 if that fails. So we're going to be watching these levels very carefully. How is it looking in the pre-market? It's trying to pump in the pre-market, but be very careful because like I said before, yesterday the market pumped in the morning. You guys remember that? We pumped very nicely in the morning. We saw the QQQ almost hit 385, but we failed to break it. And then we saw this thing reject and come crashing down from 385 all the way down to 375. So my point is, this could happen again. There's a possibility of it, but not a guarantee. Okay? Watch the price action, watch your levels, and that will tell you which way the market's going to go. For now, we're trying to hold up, but we're going to be seeing, could the market break below these critical levels? For the triple Q, it's going to be 380 as one of the major supports to watch for. If that breaks, there's a good chance we're going to come all the way down to 378 or even lower than that potentially. All right. So that's what I have for this video. I want to keep this one very short because it is getting very close to open and I want to get this video out there as fast as possible. Sometimes these videos need some time to render, which is why it takes me a little bit of time sometimes. Sometimes I barely upload them just a few minutes before open. I'm sorry about that, but I do the best I can, and I do have to wake up very early to start these videos anyways. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. I actually wake up at like 4 a.m. Anyways. But anyways, thank you for listening. Have a great day, everyone. Tesla on the market to the moon. The long term is very bright. And peace out.